This is Floating Passage, a combat art that's given to you by Pot Noble Harunaga, a Carp Scales vendor to the right of the Hirata Estates bridge. And I bought it so that you don't have to. It's pretty bad. Large enemies will just poise through this long animation, and it achieves less than Whirlwind Strike, which also offers a cleave effect. Let me know if I'm missing something. Harunaga also offers a mask fragment, and I'm sure many of you are wondering if it's worth investing in. If you find all three of these, then you receive the Dancing Dragon Mask, a key item that allows you to exchange 5 skill points to increase your attack power by 1, something that you're probably more likely to make use of in the late game. Something you can use in this level though is the Withered Red Gourd. It restores when you sit at bonfires, just like your other one, and this one removes fire buildup, which is something you're gonna need when you stand in this fire along the estate path. This is where you'll find the Flame Barrel, which is an essential prosthetic weapon, and most of you probably found it. But did you know that there's actually a really rare piece of dialogue that you can receive here? You have to stealth close to these soldiers without being seen, which is not an easy task, considering how many scouts there are in this little tiny section. Nearby the Carp Scalesman are a couple of boats that some bandits likely used to come ashore, and reinforcing that theory is an item that's left behind on those boats, a Mibu possession balloon, which increases item drop from killing enemies, which is obviously something you could imagine a bunch of pillaging bandits using. Across the way is Anayama, a talkative bandit who's set on looting the place. This explains why he has Lady Butterfly's phantom kunai later in the game. He speaks of some 3-story pagoda up on some cliff, which is a tip that can lead you to a really well hidden prosthetic weapon. I didn't find this on my first playthrough. So to find this, you take the first left on the bamboo thicket slope, and then you follow the river until you reach this outcrop, break through the old bamboo door, jump the walls up the mountain, and you'll face a purple cloak, which is a really tough enemy this early in the game. So this guy is one of 17 lone shadows. These are agents from the Interior Ministry, and this one is sitting and watching from his high perch while the bandits do all of their dirty work. You can beat him by getting good with your sheer skill. You can beat him in a lame way by running back down the mountain, then going back up again and killing him in stealth. Or you can use Vaati's patented ankle chipping technique. Whatever you choose, open the pagoda and you'll be able to loot the Mist Raven's Feathers, which is the prosthetic that's really powerful against enemies that have really slow, heavy-hitting attacks, allowing you to get in a lot of health damage from behind. The final prosthetic weapon hidden in the estates is the Loaded Axe, and you're clued into its location by this man on the estate path, who is furious about the bandit invasion. He's one of many bodies in this area that are dressed in this blue garb, and it likely marks him as one of the high-ranking warriors of the Hirata. 2 other living men wear this same garb, and both of them claim to be from the Nogami family, which was a vassal family of the Hirata, whose Hirata Estates are under attack from these bandits. And the Hirata themselves are a vassal to the Ashina, who are pretty much as high as it goes in this region, although the Ashina are rapidly losing influence. Anyway, the first confirmed member of the family that we meet is Nogami Gensai. As he lets you know, he fought with the Ashina when they claimed this land, explaining his fierce loyalty to Ishin of the Ashina, and also the Divine Prince, who he has been tasked with protecting. If he dies in the fight against Juzo, one of the bandits, he laments his failure to Lord Kuro. But if he survives the fight against Juzo, this is what he says. And if you kill him afterwards, you cement yourself in his eyes as a rogue shinobi, without a family name and without honor. It's not too wrong, honestly. The reason so many people here call us a rogue shinobi is likely because we were nowhere to be seen when the bandits attacked, despite already being the prince's shinobi. So this is common knowledge among the town, and especially amongst the Nogami family, who pretty much all call you a rogue. But I wonder, and I don't know if anyone has this answer, but where were we during this attack on the Hirata Estates? Who lured us away? The mother of a couple of the Nogami men cowers inside. This scared maid will one day become one of many afflicted by your dragon rot, and considering Emma talks often about the overflow that's associated with dragon rot, this scared maid appears to be traumatized by a vision of what's to come for her.
Your master is deep in the mansion. My son, Inosuke, went to rescue him, so he's probably fine, but...
This is Nogami Inosuke, a man who has barely survived his fight with Lady Butterfly. If you look closely at him, you can see he actually has blood streaming down from both of his eyes, which I think has to do with the illusions that he's seen. Undoubtedly, he saw something terrible, right? And maybe he clawed his own eyes out, or she made him claw his own eyes out as a way of escaping these illusions. Which is why I think it's actually a bit of a missed opportunity to not have these illusions mean something devastating to Sekiro. Instead, from what I can tell, they're just laborers with a sort of headscarf, which might mean something. It's probably more likely that they have to do with Lady Butterfly herself. Of course, this man is the exact same Nogami Inosuke we find in the Ashina outskirts 3 years later, which explains now why he had those bands fully wrapped over his eyes. He was permanently crippled all those years ago in the Hirata Estates, and now he has the lone task of looking after his mother. Now that we recognize that he was blind all this time, it explains why he says he remembers our voice. His mother, of course, is the one that gave us the bell, and maybe it was her desire to help the prince that sort of linked us back to the Hirata Estates, recreating this memory with Buddha's help. Before you go and die to Lady Butterfly a bunch of times, now, in the first episode, is a really good time to tell you that not all shinobi walls actually have a human shape, clearly revealing them. Scrolls, too, are something to look out for, because they often hide some seriously good loot. A Mibu balloon of wealth, divine confetti, a light coin purse, and, most importantly, a prayer bead. As you run towards Lady Butterfly, again and again, like I did, spare a thought for this one enemy who has the worst recurring nightmare in the history of the Souls series. If you're wondering, though, there is a reason he's here, and it's because From Software knows how hard this fight is, and having him here allows you to refill your second resurrection bar on your way back to Lady Butterfly. Thank you, Bow Bandit. As you fight all of the mini-bosses and bosses in this area, remember, most bosses actually come with a really significant prosthetic weakness. Lady Butterfly, for example, can be knocked off her wires with shurikens, and your spirit emblems can be restored in Phase 2 by killing her illusions. Juzo is weak to the faded owl feather, as he has really slow attacks, and he's also a great candidate to light on fire. He's so slow and big that he's really easy to hit with oil urns, which allow you to set him on fire with one flame charge instead of 2. This means you can set him on fire a ton of times throughout the fight. And finally, the Shinobi Hunter. He suffers against firecrackers and shuriken use, which makes this difficult fight a cakewalk for most players. After you defeated Lady Butterfly, you awakened back at the dilapidated temple. However, if you return to her boss room, there's actually an idol here now that you can rest at. It seems like it serves no purpose, but you can sit here and use it to confront the memory of Lady Butterfly, and you'll learn a little bit more of our history with her. Long ago, Owl actually appointed her to teach us shinobi techniques, and they were not teachings of a kind sort. Now, later in the game, it's possible to return to the Hirata Estates, and the 2 tips that are going to follow relate to this area. I want to warn you, do not watch any further unless you have fought the second boss battle atop Ashina Castle. I will be spoiling who stabs you from behind after defeating Lady Butterfly, and it's a major plot point in the game. The perfect getaway from this video is my merch link. Quick, get out of here. 14. The sword that stabs you from behind is a long, thick blade, and it's assumedly not easy to sneak up on a shinobi, unless, of course, you're a master shinobi. The person who stabs us from behind is our father, the owl. The owl is the master of the shinobi tree, and he uses a ton of techniques that we ourselves have access to. First, Mikiri, used on you when you initiate with a charge stab, which I do way too often. Second, he uses Shadow Rush, which is the combat art at the end of the Shinobi skill tree. He also uses distractions like firecrackers, shurikens, and a spirit that flies around the room that you have to keep an eye on. He also has a bunch of feint attacks that trick you into thinking he's going to do one thing when he does another. This boss is incredible from a design perspective. If you're wondering why he's more difficult here, it's also because he's 3 years younger than the easier owl that you encounter later atop Ashina Castle. So, the owl was the one who arranged this whole rebellion, and he coordinated with the Interior Ministry, which are these purple-cloaked guys, to do so. This is why you see one of those purple-cloaked guys all those years ago, in the first memory, sitting atop the three-tiered pagoda. So, why did he do this? Well, perhaps he wished to have you killed and make the prince loyal to him instead. Perhaps he wanted to force the prince to bestow the dragon's heritage upon you, his loyal son. But as we uncover the secrets of Sekiro, we'll get back to this, I promise. For now, subscribe, click the bell to be notified of new videos, and I'll see you next time.